I really feel weird being mic'd here, but does that help the camera if I'm mic'd? Is that what we're doing? That's okay. We've titled this talk, Leveraging Democratized Filmmaking Tools in the Modern Era of Film Distribution. There's some snickers, which is kind of hurting my feelings a little bit, but that's okay, because I do have a different, more jazzy title, which is The Meteoric Nicki Minaj-like Rise of a Small-Town Production Crew to International Film Fame and Glory. So that is, let's hear it for that one, just because. And then the other one, does anybody like the other one better? We can look at the other one. Okay, all right, here we go, let's go. Here's the core question is, can someone with hair like this ever really be successful? I am here to tell you that thanks to this community, thanks to people like Chris Lyon, who's here, thanks to the fake tan that Chris appeared to have given me in this picture, yes, we have been, and that's really what we're going to focus on today is what happened to myself, to my production crew, that took us to a different place, that took us to a level that you wouldn't expect people to be able to achieve in a place like Shreveport, Louisiana. So, this is how it began. It started at Strawn's, and basically I was sitting there and I was working on a different documentary project, and I was thinking about all the different ways there were to lose money at documentary filmmaking, and I thought I'd thought of them all when two farmers walked in off the street and started talking about the Haynesville Shale. They started talking about these secret wells, they started talking about all this money to be made, and I thought this would make a great idea. So, in a very sort of basic setting, we started making a film about the Haynesville. This was something that was us, a couple of HVX cameras, Final Cut. We all look thinner and younger, but the fact is that we actually did it, and from that came the film Haynesville. Have you guys all, anybody seen Haynesville? Well, definitely get online if you haven't, and buy as many DVDs as you can. Basically, our initial push on this was to sort of reach out through social media. And social media is important, of course, in all of our lives, but it really sort of set us on a different track. It set us on this rise that we never really expected. One of the interesting things about Haynesville, if you haven't seen it, is that Haynesville was sort of designed to be this story about the personal lives of people experiencing the Haynesville Shale. What we did was we added this other angle to it once we realized the Haynesville Shale was real, that told an energy story. And the way it told an energy story was through balance. It told it in a way that the audience was expected to make up their own minds. Now, if you know anything about documentary filmmaking, or if I conjure the words Michael Moore, or I talk about sort of the gas industry, we all know that these people all try to make up our minds for us. Well, this was something that was incredibly refreshing, but at first people were kind of unresponsive to it. I mean, who wants something where you actually have to think? I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? So what we did was, from little Shreveport, Louisiana, we started beating our drum, and we started basically gathering an army behind us, applying to film festivals, doing the things that you're supposed to do, but also utilizing these networks in a way that, to people like us, and even to documentary filmmakers, was somewhat unprecedented. Now, for anybody who knows Facebook marketing, we went from maybe 200 to 500, 500 to 1,000. We ended up with 10,000 people on our Facebook page. And what this did was it started to yield really interesting things. This sort of virtual world approach, these people from Shreveport, Louisiana, who, where is Shreveport, Louisiana, right, are starting to produce packed houses all over the United States. I mean, everywhere we went, we found ourselves being sold out, only because at the end of the day, people found a refreshing message that we were able to communicate from, like I said, offices right there in American Tower. So, what this ended up yielding for us is it actually started to grow even more. And as a result, we got a contract with NBC Universal. We're on Netflix, iTunes. Cinetic picked us up. If you don't know them, they're a huge digital distributor. And then we started appearing at places like South by Southwest, TEDx Austin, with all due respect to TEDx Red River. I'm much happier to be here right now. And then being able to premiere at places like the Aspen Ideas Festival. But we had to think about what we were going to do next. And we had to really prove that we weren't a flash in the pan. Just roll it around. Chris, this is Chris. Chris did this. He said it would go over big, and he's lied to me. Thank you. Let's hear for that one. Let's hear for Chris on that one. The whole idea really was, when you do something like this, when you're out there, there are all sorts of stories of people like us coming from small towns all over the United States who get lucky, right? So the question was really like, well, what's next? What are you guys going to do next that is going to show that you're not a flash in the pan? They're going to show that you're not just sort of like a strike of luck at the right time of day. And so what we came up with, and actually it was born out of the TED Talk that I did in Austin, was this idea of finding a way to speak to people about energy, which takes you to what we're working on now. And what we're working on now is something called the Rational Middle Energy Series. And what the Rational Middle Energy Series is, it is a series of short films, 8 to 10 minutes long each, that are meant to sort of set a civil discussion forward. It's meant to sort of put information in front of people in a compelling cinematic way and really show them that there is a discussion to be had about energy and the energy future. Now, it's kind of a crazy idea, right? To actually want to bring people together and want them to have a discussion, right? But the fact is that when we were at the Aspen Ideas Festival, we were fortunate enough to meet Shell Oil Company. We were fortunate enough to meet the New York Times. We were fortunate enough to meet Atlantic Monthly. And therefore, because of what we had done with Haynesville, from the small town of Shreveport, Louisiana, right, we were able to get funding to do the first 10 films for this. And if you guys could bear with me, I'd like to show you just a quick trailer of the film. Chris, you're gonna man that, and we're gonna just show you kind of what we're going for here. And again, note the quality that's there. Note the score that was created by a group down in New Orleans. Note the finishing that was done by Chris Lyon, or the cinematography that was done by Mark Bullard, all out of Shreveport, Louisiana. And what you see is something that is pretty incredible and pretty special. And actually, if you guys will even give me a little bit more patience, I want to give you guys a world premiere of one of the films in the series that will actually launch on Tuesday. I'd like to show you that too. But before I even talk about that, I'd like to maybe tell you a little bit about what happened with this too. And again, I'm telling you all this. I could talk about the Rational Middle all day long, but what I believe more than anything is that what we've done here, what we've been lucky enough to experience, is something that is present in this city, that it's present in everyone who is doing work within the Shreveport-Bossier area. And it is incredibly exciting to me that we were able to pull this off, but also that in the end, I'm encouraging everybody here to do the same thing that we're doing. Actually, my son today actually told me not to tell anybody that they could do what we could do. And just tell you guys that if you want it done, you can pay us and we can do it for you. But I am telling you that you could actually do this. Again, our primary goal with the Rational Middle was to kind of take this message, the message that Haynesville kind of trotted out there for us, and go big with us. Well, with New York Times, Atlantic Monthly, and Shell as our partner, we really had that opportunity. But a lot of it, again, was on our backs. A lot of it was what we had to do. So we kind of pulled the same magic that we pulled off when we, let me show you just a little graph. We pulled off the same magic that we pulled off when we did Haynesville. We went right to the airways. We went right to the people that were a part of us. These people, by the way, are all free, right? These are people who are interested in the issue. These are people who want to help everyone out. These are the people that want to take a message and carry it for you. And again, what is astounding about this number, what's astounding about the success that we've had so far, is that we've done it from a little office in Shreveport, Louisiana. We haven't done it in Los Angeles. We haven't done it in New York. We're not going anywhere near Atlanta. We wanted to do it right here in Shreveport. And we insisted that this was the place we were going to do it, and we've done it. Well, now we've experienced something where, as Cole said, we're on a national tour on this thing. In fact, we leave Monday for Raleigh-Durham. We have Austin, we have Houston, we have Denver, we have Chicago. These are places that are booking us outside of the series itself. I mean, we have something that, given the right momentum behind it, is something that everyone can sort of take and have as their own. This is something that given the power, or given the ability, or just given the desire, you all have the ability to do. So that said, what I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of show you part of, or actually, it's the whole episode, right? The whole episode of A Day in the Life of the Quarters. And just to kind of intro the piece, one of the things that I wanted to do as we were thinking about this idea of democratizing the information about energy, this idea of teaching people about how to discuss energy, really kind of bringing the issues, putting them on a table and having people discuss that energy, one of the things that we had to do was kind of put the mirror right up in front of people's faces. We had to really teach people exactly what they use, how they use, and how much they are using at any given time. So this piece was us going down to a friend of mine, Gerald Quarter's house in Austin, Texas, following them through a day, and then you guys being able to kind of see what that energy use is and where it comes from. So why don't we bring down the lights? This is a world premiere of A Day in the Energy Life of the Quarters. So you guys like that? I'm just kind of excited to show it to you guys, I have to say. I mean, again, talking about the series itself, it's been incredibly interesting to watch these crowds sort of react to these films because it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. In our national roadshow, we are seeing people respond to these films. We're seeing people come together over them, and we're seeing the needle move a little bit in the energy discussion. And that's a pretty incredible thing for us. I think it's this weird sort of dream we've always had, and now all of a sudden we're seeing this ability of I guess our dream to kind of come to fruition a little bit. So it's been fascinating. Again, sharing this with you guys is really important because I think that this next part really is where I want to kind of bring you guys into it, because this is really something where it's about you. That is you. It is, we're going to do a big cutout, and we're going to let you put your face through it, but it was too expensive, so we had to do a slide. This is really the part where I want to sort of go past us and talk about the potential of this area and the spirit of this area. There is a reason why we are here. One, my family is originally from the area, but I think that when we were finished making Haynesville and we kind of reassessed our situation here in Shreveport, Louisiana, there was an opportunity to go back to Austin and make film. But I think that when we sat down at the breakfast table, and I say we, I'm talking about my wife Heidi, who is in the audience right there. I'm probably gonna make her cry when I say this. But when we sat down at the breakfast table and we really talked about what Shreveport had to offer, what Bossier had to offer, it really was this place that was incredibly giving and incredibly supportive of itself and of others. We have been very lucky in the sense that Haynesville was really made on the back of this community. When we were trotting this out across the globe, we showed Haynesville everywhere. There was always a thanking of Shreveport and of the Bossier area for everything that it did and did for us. To me, I think that part of what's happened to us and part of what's made it so lucky for us is part of what we need to sort of give back to the community, which is the ability to show everyone here who is interested in film, or interested in application design, or interested in graphic design, or interested in doing something cool and creative in this city, that they can do it here. They don't have to go other places. God, don't go to Dallas. Don't go to Houston. And Austin's cool, but listen, we'll just give you all the great Tex-Mex places to eat, and then you can come back here. Because at the end of the day, the people here are some of the most genuine, kind people that we've ever dealt with. And the people here are some of the most creative, forward-thinking, and progressive people. Now, maybe there are not a lot of us right now, right? Maybe there are not enough of us, but you get enough of us around a table, then all of a sudden cool stuff starts to happen, right? Because at the end of the day, it's really not about us. It's not about Kallenberg Productions. It's not about the Rational Middle Media Project. It's about us, right? It's about building an indigenous creative community. It's about us coming together and doing cool shit. Sorry, no children in the audience, cool shit. It's about us getting together and being creative together, putting forth our spirit together, and being a part of something incredible. And I got to tell you something, that from somebody who has been a lot of places and someone who has had the ability to have really cool creative friends and do really cool projects in a place that's really cool, like Austin, Texas, I like it here. And I like it being with you guys. And I appreciate everything that you've given to us. And I'm giving back to you this message, which is the message of the idea that you can do this. We can all do this. We can make Shreveport the place we want it to be. We just have to get out there and get it done. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.